Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Uxtsuki. So I decided to starting a new playlist for tutorials with a new different approach. So basically I will show the script. I will leave the link to the GitHub, to the repository in the description, and that is it. So I will try to build up everything as I usually do, okay, but in a different, more dynamic approach. So I have a timer. Even though there is a node timer, I decided to make a research one, but follow a lot of the same idea of the timer I already use, but a bit more incremented. So I have two signals, on reset and on timeout. I have a lot of variables to control the functionality of the timer. So active one shot, so it will basically won't work after they say the first activation, and you can always active again. The timer itself, that my usually timer goes for a certain number, then reaches 0 and something happens and resets to a certain number. This is how my timer usually works. Okay, I don't increment, decrement. I have an increment and a multiplier variables. I will explain soon. So I have a count only. So you want to do necessarily anything, so you want to reset the upper limit if you actually want the opposite thing, starting in the 0 and going upwards. The addition, so instead of decrement you are incrementing the delta modifiers and the reset modifiers. So in the init, a lot of things being set up by default. If not active a return, I loop in the reset modifiers and in the delta modifiers, because I have a temporary modifiers. So basically I check if there is any timer in the modifiers. I ignore, else I decrement, and if it is lesser or equals to 0, I remove these modifiers. So if the timer is not addition in greater than 0, I just decrement. Else, if the boolean is addition is true, I increment the timer following the method, and if it is on a count only, I just return. So as you can see here in the bottom, I check if the timer reached the 0 or reached the upper limit. In the first one, I reset. My reset is increment, so as you can see, the increment variable is just to increment the reset value. I use the multiplier as well to set the to update the modifier. So if the reset was, for example, every activation, the timer must actually starting with 1 more second, or doubling the timer, and so on. And I emit the on reset, and here in the beginning on timeout, here as well on timeout, then I check the reset is being incremented, but now the modified one will be the upper limit. The timer is resetted to 0. So this modifier is the same thing that a very similar one that I use in the attribute system. I basically add this dictionary to that dictionary modifiers right here, and I also add some other keys if it is built in the parameters. I also have remove it, as you can see, using the key, and here I have the get final values that is very similar one to the get final value in the attribute system. So as you can see, the initial value is the reset, here is the delta. So for example, if I have a game where the timer must actually increment twice as faster, or tenfold slower, or something like this, I use these modifiers. Okay, so for example, in a game where I have temporary cooldown reductions, I think this might be useful. Okay, so that's it.